Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Dr. Luke and Dr. Sandy's first podcast, and we'd love to have some more. And joining us today, Alexandria Sims and Maureen Zigulich. We're all members of the Democracy Challenge Committee at the Chicago campus. So thank you for coming today. The topic of our first podcast is voter stress. I have to go back to, I still have this urge, and I don't know, Maureen, you mentioned it before, I don't know if you have a similar, to convince people of something else, like people who are not, who are voting in a way that I feel is not okay, but I have some responsibility to say, now wait a minute, would you listen to me, or do you really know what you're voting for? Especially younger people in my family, like, gosh, I try to convince them. It doesn't work, but I still feel the need to do it. I don't know. Does anybody else do that with your family, or just me?
I feel like there are certain people who I know that I'm not going to change their mind on anything. Like I can tell them, oh, like, don't eat those things because they're not good for you, but they're just not rational people. So I think I know who in my family I can sway, and I know who's just set in their ways, and I focus my attention on those people.
Okay.
For talking to people we love versus like talking to maybe like friends or our friends' parents or just in other general social groups, I find like trying to, stick with I statements, I feel statements, and making it a little bit more about me and this person I love versus maybe about the whole political issue. That's like a strategy. I don't know if it would work or not, but I think, for the loved ones who don't agree with my point of views, I think it would make them listen a little bit more to me, and hopefully they would model what I'm doing and I could hear what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. But Dr. Sandy, do you remember this goes back, now I'm showing my age a little bit here, but going back where when you went to vote, you didn't tell anybody who you voted for. It was one of those areas that I'm not going to go in private, because it's based upon our freedom to go into a booth on our own that is just us. We can choose who we want and go out, and we don't have to say anything.
That's right. I forgot that.
Oh, yeah. And I think we make assumptions many times that, okay, they're voting this way, just based upon who we know of them, their lifestyles and things like that. But what I noticed, and I thought about this the other night, is so many people are saying, no, this is how I'm voting. And I remember vividly back when I first started voting, you just
You're right. It was part of the culture not to say.
Correct.
It was your private information. I forgot about that, but that's absolutely true. Where now it's the opposite. Everybody's blasting what side they're on. It's the division. It's I'm on this side or I'm on that side, and I go back and forth about whether or not I should say anything at all, or I should just shut up. But then when I shut up, I feel like, no, that's not right either. So here's my final kind of what I thought about, and I am going with the model of John Lewis. It's because who I am, I have to make good trouble. I have to speak up when I can speak up appropriately, and I have to make good trouble. Whatever happens, happens. I can't control other people, but I have to speak up in a respectful way and make good trouble. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I am a fellow, and as a part of the fellowship, I have to be nonpartisan. So like posting like on Instagram and social media I feel like a little bit of my soul is kind of gone. So I'm like, oh, I can't say what I want to say because I gotta be like politically correct and stay within a thing. And I'm just like, man, did I make the right decision in being a part of this fellowship? But I just gotta finish it out. But it's been frustrating.
Yep.
Absolutely. What do you think, Maureen?
I think, especially as most of us probably listening are going to be therapists, and as therapists, our tool is our person. It would feel inauthentic to hide my values okay, I feel sharing my values is important, versus, sharing whatever political name it belongs to. And knowing myself that much versus knowing what political stance I'm taking is even more important than anything. So I don't know, Sandy, I'm with you. I'll make good trouble for whatever values I stand for any day of the week.
Thank you.
And I'm with that as well. I think that the way we make good trouble is by voting. I mean, really voting to what we believe in and voting our values and understanding that our voice does make a choice. It does make a impact on where things go, and how we feel about ourselves. Do we feel that we're part of something bigger, or do we feel no? Well, we're not going to do that, and just we know the direction's going to be, but then you don't feel that you've impacted it in any way. And I think it's one of those things that we need to think about, and the importance of that vote and saying what we believe in.
And that goes back to my heroes, the heroes from the 60s, Dr. Martin Luther King and Max, and people who I had so much respect for and followed so much. I have to do what they did. I have to speak up. And John Lewis and Ruth Ginsburg. I speak up in a respectful manner, and that's what I can do. So thank you guys for being here today. It really helps to talk to people about this, to get it out of myself and talk to all of you. So thank you so much.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but I was just thinking in light of us saying how it used to be a secret of who you would vote for. It would be taboo. It would be like asking somebody how much they paid for like a car or house or something like that, and how it's not like that anymore. And I'm so happy it's not. If you're afraid of judgment based upon how you're voting, great, then welcome that judgment and try to understand why you're afraid of letting people know who you are and what you stand for and what you believe in, but also being open to hearing other things. I just always feel like silence is taboo and will keep things in shame. We'll keep shaming the overall political system.
But always remember too, and I'm 100% with you, Maureen, that silence is an answer in and of itself.
Yeah.
There is a powerful piece just to being silent. Not to say that I'm not saying be silent. What I am saying is there is that other side of that, and I'm in agreement with you that we need to be able to stand up for what we believe. But I don't think we as a society are mature enough to handle that, and that's the fear I think that comes from that. It's that idea to challenge and to agree to disagree, but get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. So with that all being said, thank you very much, Alexandria and Maureen, for being with us. It's a great conversation. I would love to carry this conversation on. But I do want to say to the listeners, if you like this setup, we would, all four of us would really like to continue to do something like this, but we'd like your suggestions. And if you can send your suggestions to my email, I'll open up my email for it. You can send it to lmudd, LMUDD, at thechicagoschool.edu with any suggestions or ideas that you may want to hear for future podcasts, and we'll work with you.